Well, Doc, we waiting on you, man.
Because Reggie, right?
Yeah, well, Doc, I wish I had on mine. Hold this for me, Doc.
Yeah.
Reverend, kill all that. We got to start. Yeah. Yeah, get stuff on your ear. You in a conference. Reverend, you got to take your ear. Good afternoon. Baptist Ministers Conference of Duval and adjacent counties, 600 Everson Street, Jacksonville, Florida 32204. We're here today, purpose of calling for a ceasefire, reconciliation, and transformation conference. I am President Darian K. Bolden Sr., the President of the Baptist Ministers Conference of Duval and adjacent counties. In view of all of the recent incidents of unnecessary shootings and killings in our city, we're asking to meet with Sheriff Mike Williams, gang task force leaders, community leaders, clergy, and faith leaders. We're going to call for a conference date to be announced, and we will allow our city leaders along with our gang members or community leaders, faith leaders to come together as we discuss some type of solution to the problems in which we are facing. This meeting and need for change and cooperation in our city is long overdue. These killings need to stop. And we plead with the community, we plead with gang leaders, we plead with school principals and others to attend a ceasefire, reconciliation, and transformation conference. First of all, there are several things that we want to share concerning what we're trying to do. We're trying, first of all, to call for a 30-day ceasefire of all shootings, killings, abuses, and beefings one with another in our city. Secondly, we're calling for a 30-day ceasefire of Facebook and other media videos that's having a negative effect and causing some of these shootings and retaliations in our city. Number three, we call for a meeting with all organizations that work with youth of any type in our city that may attend this summit. Fourthly, we would like to meet with the Sheriff Department to get all of the facts, all of the data that we can use to help address the issues of violence and crime in our community. As of now, we've had over 360 shootings this year in Jacksonville alone. One shooting is too many. Let's long talk about 360-some shootings in our city. Just this past weekend, 8 people were shot in 6 different shootings in our city. Fifthly, there are 3 points of interest that we would like the sheriff, the state attorney, and the city to consider moving forward to bring the Florida justice system into the 21st century as part of the new Safety and Justice Task Force. 8, help to reduce crime by tackling the root causes of criminal behavior and minimizing recidivism. Secondly, B, prioritizing prosecuting the greatest threats to communities with alternatives to put low-level offenders back on the right path. C, keep building and build stronger bonds between law enforcement and the communities they serve through the faith initiative. The 6th thing that we're looking at, we believe that the model that was being brought forth in Hillsborough County is a great model to help enhance what we're trying to do here in Duval County. 7th thing that we're looking at, we recognize the JSO and Faith Initiative and those who have signed up and would like to discuss and discover what are the long-term goals and how we as clergy in this city may help to accomplish those goals. The eighth thing, we encourage a quarterly dialogue with the sheriff and the state attorney that we thought was already in place. And if it is in place, we want to be a part of the discussions with the NAACP and other agencies that works in our community to help reduce youth crime in our communities. Ninth thing that we're looking at, the Gang Task Force and its mission. We desire to assist to help save our community from this violence as much as possible. And then 10th and finally, we call for the Sheriff's Office and the City Council to work closely with additional clergy to help reduce these shootings and to save our youth. Finally, my brothers and sisters, before I entertain questions, I want to say by no means does the Baptist Ministers Conference have all of the answers to the problems that's in our city. If we had all of the answers, these problems would not be existing today. But I believe that as a community, we can come together, we can be a better city, we can work better together than we are working apart in order to minimize the violence in our city. And then I want to say to us that we, the Baptist Ministers Conference, are not just people who are talking about it, but we are serious about it. And so therefore, we're not just coming to talk about the problems, we're coming to help present some solutions to the problems. So therefore, our immediate past president, the Reverend Dr. Robert LeCount, has started a program called Reworks, where we're trying to make ways for our young people to be trained for job and career opportunities. And I want to bring him forth to speak more about this program that's going forth and being launched, that we may be able to help assist our young people in our community.
Amen. Amen.
Good afternoon. As violence continues to increase in our community, Quench the Violence has worked with board members, community workforce training experts, and consultants to launch the Rework program as a method of reaching more individuals who are struggling to achieve financial stability and prevent criminal activities. The Rework program has been developed by a team of workforce development and training professionals who have over 3 decades of experience in designing job readiness, high-impact program all over the country. This Rework program will provide job training at no cost to the students that will attend. They will have an opportunity to pick one of the fields that we offer. We offer in pharmacy tech, we offer in CNA, certified nursing assistant, business administration, medical coding, billing, entrepreneurialism, child care, lawn care maintenance is a pathway. And we also give them job coaches, life coaches to help them along the way in the program, to assist them to after they complete whatever career path that they choose, that will help assist them finding jobs and place them on jobs. We have partners already with different programs in our city that will provide these trainings. The schools that's already going on in the pharmacy tech. Albert Chasters is doing that training for us. We do have lawn service that has been already proven just through Disciples of Christ. We had some members in our church got out of jail, out of prison, couldn't find a job because they was in prison for homicide. But yet and still they did their time and wanted to be a productive citizens in our community. And the first thing that I remember as a kid growing up, my father told us that you can if you can't get a job, make a job. And so we created a job. We went and bought lawn equipment and began to teach them how to use it. Now both of them men have successful lawns company and providing for their family, and they are productive citizens in our community. And so we figured that we could do the same thing with others in our community. For those who just don't feel that they could get the necessary job that's giving them good pay, and we're not talking about restaurant pay, but we're talking about jobs that could start and kick off their career, that they will even have an opportunity to retire or even further their career as they get a little older. And so reworks have already started. We are coaching the coaches that gonna coach the students at this moment, but November the 1st, they will be full in force. They'll be coming to Disciples of Christ 2061 Edgewood Avenue to get their first initial training, and after they go through the readiness workforce boot camp, then we'll place them in the career paths that they choose to go.
We want to thank our past president, President LeCount, for the Reworks program and these initiatives that we are putting forth. Once again, we do not have all of the answers, but we do have a summit that's coming forth. We will get this information to our news networks. We will be contacting all of the persons who are in leadership positions in our community by way of action agencies that's working forth to help curb some of this crime in our city. And we will be extending invitations to our sheriff, our mayor, and our state attorney that they may have representation there at these meetings. Together, we can make Jacksonville a better city. We must stop the shooting and the killings and the violence and the beefing that's going on in our city. And we're pleading. We're pleading with the citizens of this community. We're pleading with gang members. We're pleading with gang leaders. Please, let's come to the table and sit down and reason together and come up with ways and means that we can stop the violence in our city. At this time, we're open for questions.
One of those points was meeting with people who work with youth in the city. How pivotal is bringing youth, the next generation, into this conversation? How important is that?
Success without successes is failure. And our young people need to know that there are alternatives to the violence that we're facing in our city. There's alternative ways, and they're seeking it from the wrong sources. So therefore, as we talked about the Reworks program, we want them to know that there are jobs available for them where they can get the training, the coaching, and the tools necessary in order to become productive citizens. It's not in all of the shootings and the killings that's going on. And somehow we've got to capture our young people. First of all, let them know that we care and we are concerned about them. We're concerned about their futures. Some of them don't believe anyone loves them. Some of them don't believe anyone cares about them nor their future. And we want to say here, as the Baptist Ministers Conference of Duval and adjacent counties, listen, this is not just a Baptist thing. This is across the board with other pastors, other leaders, and clergy all over our city. We have spoken with other leaders. We're all concerned about our youth, and we want to make it known that we care about them, and they are our future. And if we don't gather them now and show love to them and show them the right way, what type of future will we have if our youth are going the wrong way?
And you also mentioned Hillsborough County as a model, as a place where a strategy is working. What specifically do you like about
many of the programs that they have brought in Hillsborough County have targeted the youth? And if you look at the statistics, the crime is down now amongst the youth in Hillsborough County because the young people have something to do. They have places to go. We need park directors. We need people in these boys and girls clubs that we need after school programs, something for our kids to do. We need jobs, somewhere where they can go and make an honest living. These things have to be put into effect in order to curb the crime of our youth. They need something to do. They need places to go. And some of these vacant buildings, these school buildings that's not occupied, some of the money that we're spending other places with all of this funding that has come down, some of that money needs to be put into programs where they have after school care, where they can go and have tutoring, and we can at the same time pay people for the tutoring while our kids are advancing in society. These are the programs that we need in our city in order to make our city a better city.
Pastor Bowler.
Yes, sir.
There have been 300 shootings.
Over 300.
Why now? Why this urgency now? And have you been in contact with the sheriff's office about a meeting?
Yes, we have, and we've gone to different programs that they've had. A few months ago, they had a program where a guy out of Atlanta came, and there's a faith initiative program. We're not just crying out now. The Baptist Ministers Conference of Duval and adjacent county, and we've always been crying out. We know that there's an urgency because these killings are getting worse and worse. Our numbers are soaring every year. And we're addressing this because our mayor and our sheriff, they campaigned on curbing the crime. And because they talked about curbing the crime, we want to see what we can do to assist them. Listen, by no means are we pointing fingers at anybody or putting the blame on anybody. It's an issue that confronts all of us. And all of us are being affected in our neighborhoods, in our homes, and this is an urgency in our city that needs to be taken care of and needs attention given to it.
Enough is enough.
Enough is enough.
Now, several years ago, you passed an account, you were there too, the Gallon kid, just a few blocks away.
Yes.
And it was egregious then because there's a 7-year-old kid that got caught in the crossfire.
Right.
Since then, there have been more bodies. From a personal perspective, how painful is this, seeing this occurring over and over again, especially in the black community?
I'm going to let Pastor LeCount speak and address that because he too has suffered gang violence in his own family by losing a son to gun violence. And so we want him to address that.
For me, it's painful for me because, as you said, constantly it's repeating itself and things is getting worse and they're getting younger. We having now more younger of our children is now doing the most violent crimes than ever before. We never saw children at the age of 13, 14 now is able to get hands on weapons, and now it's robbing and killing one another. And so we got to do something drastic to try to make a change to reach our young people in order to help them and find the right direction and the right path. And so it's hurting. It caused my heart to bleed because I know the feeling of a parent when they get that phone call that their kid have been gunned down or been shot or been killed. And so I understand that feeling and that hurt and that pain, and then you never know who done it. And don't seem like, and I'm just like you say, seem like we need to put more emphasis on trying to find some of these folks are doing the killing. We're not making enough arrests to me. Not enough being prosecuted to me. Look, just let me just take this, and I may be taking it out of scenario, but just look at how much effort that the government put on to find a man for just credit card fraud. And we got folks dying in our city, and they're not spending any money to try to stop some of this violence that's going on in our city. Can you imagine if they put that kind of effort in some of these shootings that's happening in the black community, what type of change it would be in our community? Because the reason why folks do continue to commit these crimes, because they continue to get away with these crimes. And if I continue to get away with it, I'm going to continue to do it until one day you finally catch me.
And how were you directly impacted? Mr. Bolden was saying that you
I lost a son to gun violence on Sutel. I lost him. He was killed at a club, nightclub. They called it Skate City at the time. My son was gunned down. He was shot several times with 2 different weapons in the bike. And so ever since that day, I've been having an initiative to try to make awareness about guns violence in our city, making that cry, because I hate to see parents go through what I had to go through with.
You talked about lack of resources and how that plays such a big role. Do you feel that the city has properly acknowledged the lack of resources in the
No, I don't.
communities?
No. To be honest, no. There's so much that's going on. The infrastructure, the septic tanks, putting again resources in our communities, our schools. Prime example. If you look around in our city, our charter schools are going up everywhere in our city. Some of this money has been backed by the city. But we had to raise a half-cent sales tax in order to try and get new schools built in our community. The last high school that was built in the black community in Duval County was 1965. William M. Raines, 1965. I wasn't born. And I'm looking at you, other than Ken Amaro here, none of you were born at that time. So that's a problem in our community. When we don't have decent schools, you just keep adding portables and trailers and patching our schools rather than building us new schools. That's a problem in our community. Resources need to be put into our community. More boys and girls clubs need to be built, with new technology. We got boys and girls clubs in our city that's 60, 70 years old. That's ridiculous. And so we need something to be done. We need policemen in our parks for our kids and the PAL games and other things that we need. We need to put the funding there in the community. And the answer is no, we do not believe that the city has done enough as relates to our community. Yes, sir.
How soon do you want to have this meeting of reconciliation?
We will call this meeting, we will set a date this week, and within the next week and a half, we will have this meeting. We were trying to have it this week, but we understood the dynamics of what's going on this week, and we felt that we would not get the right response due to the fact Florida-Georgia weekend, Florida A&M homecoming, and other things that's going on. So we want to have it on a date that's going to be real suitable for most of the people to make it. We'll never get them all, but if we can get the majority, we can start making a difference in this community.
And you still planning to have a community meeting tonight at 6, is that right?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. We had canceled that. It was actually supposed to have been Friday, this upcoming Friday at 6, but we have canceled that meeting due to the fact that we want all of the players involved, especially our youth, to be present so they can speak to us about their needs and their concerns, and we can address them one-on-one.
Do you feel members of the school board should come to this meeting?
Yes, we are going to be inviting our school board members, especially our school principals. Many of them are having problems. As a matter of fact, tonight I will, along with Pastor Edwards, we pastor, this is Duval and adjacent county. We pastor in Nassau County. And there's a major issue and major concern going on at Yulee High School right now. Many of you saw it in the news over the weekend, some things that happened, and we're going to get to the bottom of that this evening in a meeting at 6:30 at Yulee High School. So some of the times you all don't see us because everything is not in the news. But believe me, we're in the parks, we're around this city, we're doing food giveaways all of the time. We are very active in this community, and we want the community to know that we are concerned. And many of our community members, they know us on a first name basis because they see us when you all don't see us. But we're trying to let everyone know that we care, we are concerned, and we want to make a difference. And we need all of the city leaders to join in with us, and we work together in order to make a difference in our city.
Final question for me.
Yes, sir.
How do you get it's important for the elements that's committing the crime, the gangbangers, the whomever, to come to the table, but how do you get them to come to the table?
We've got to meet them where they're at. So, Jesus said, "Go ye therefore." The problem is we're sitting around waiting on folk to come when the Lord has commanded us to go. So we've got to go where they're at. We've got to meet them where they're at, and we've got to meet them on their level. We can't meet them sometimes dressed like I'm dressed today. We've got to put on our jeans and our T-shirts, our Timberlands or whatever we need to put on, and go talk with them and let them know that we too have a past. and that we too have come from somewhere, and that there is a better route than the one that they're taking. And so that's our goal. That's our objective. We have one of our secretary here who's been in the park for years, coaching. Reverend Aaron Flagg has coached Flag Street, and he's been in the community doing this work for many, many years. Quench the Violence has been in effect for many, many years. One of our pastors who just pulled up, Arms of Mercy, has been in the community for many, many years. And we have been doing great things and great works through this Baptist Ministers Conference for many, many years. And we plan to continue. And I pray that the city will join us in our efforts and support us in these efforts. Thank you.